Identity verification, Dorak, Master of the Jedi Council, Keeper of the Dantooine Archives, timestamp 3951 BBY. Condition critical. If you are accessing this record, then the Enclave has fallen. The Sith triumvirate, the assassins in the dark, they have finally come for the last of us. For decades, I have sat amongst these shelves, cataloging the history of the Republic. I have watched Padawans become knights, and knights become corpses. And now, the High Council on Coruscant has requested one final entry. They want the Revan incident closed. They want a summary, a fable. They wish to frame the narrative, a fallen hero, a redeemed savior, a closed loop, a sanitized story to teach younglings about the dangers of pride. But history is not a loop. It is a jagged line drawn in blood. The Council wishes to erase the nuances. They wish to ignore the woman who walked beside him, General Mitra Surik. They wish to ignore the failures of our own inaction. I record this distinct chronicle not for the Council, but for those who come after. You must understand that the Force is not merely light and dark. It is a spectrum. And Revan was the prism through which we finally saw the terrible gray truth. To know Revan, you must first know the fire that forged him, the Mandalorians. For centuries, they were a scattered people, mercenaries, bounty hunters. But Mandalore the Ultimate changed that. He did not want credits, he wanted a legacy. He united the clans under a single Neo-Crusader banner. They were not merely conquering worlds, they were testing the galaxy's resolve. They burned the Outer Rim, world by world, waiting for the Republic to stand up, waiting for the Jedi to ignite their sabers. And we did nothing. I was there in the chamber when the plea came from the Senate. Master Rook argued, correctly, technically, that the Jedi serve the Force, not the Republic government. He sensed a darker threat behind the Mandalorians, a shadow in the unknown regions. He insisted that if we committed the Order to this war, we would leave the galaxy vulnerable to the true enemy.
The Jedi sit in their tower and speak of balance? Tell that to the people of Sirocco. The Mandalorians didn't just bomb the military bases. They nuked the population centers. The Stereb cities are glass. I hold here a report from Admiral Karath. He has lost 3 fleets in 2 weeks. He isn't asking for Jedi wisdom, Master Vrook. He is asking for Jedi swords. If the Order does not intervene, there will be no Republic left to protect. You speak of the dark side clouding your vision. Look out the window. The smoke from the outer rim is visible from here.
We dismissed Corden as a warmonger. We told ourselves that he was a politician, concerned only with borders and trade routes, while we were concerned with the balance of the cosmos. It is a comforting lie, isn't it, to believe that inaction is a form of purity? But listen to his voice again. That is not greed, that is terror. The Republic looked to us as guardians, not just of the Force, but of them. When we refused to fight, we did not preserve the peace. We merely outsourced the violence to those ill-equipped to handle it. We forced the Republic fleet to die in our place, and in that vacuum of leadership, we practically begged for a man like Revan to step forward. We created the need for him. The turning point was Cathar, a world of warrior poets. The Mandalorians did not invade Cathar to hold territory. They invaded it to send a message. Cassius Fett, the Mandalorian strategist, herded the population into the sea. He wanted to provoke the Jedi. He wanted to know if we still had teeth. Millions died in a single rotation. And when the news reached Coruscant, the High Council issued a statement condemning the violence and urging the Republic to find a diplomatic solution. A diplomatic solution to genocide. That was the day Revan stopped being a Padawan. He was a knight then, charismatic, brilliant, perhaps too eager. But he possessed a quality the Masters lacked: empathy. He felt the death of the Cathar not as a disturbance in the Force, but as a scream.
I have read the texts. Master Odin writes that a Jedi must not act out of emotion. But what is justice if not the emotional response to injustice? The Mandalorians do not fear the Republic. They do not fear the Senate. They fear us. But they fear us only if we are willing to be fearful. The Council believes that by fighting, we fall. I submit that by not fighting, we have already fallen. To watch a genocide and do nothing is to be an accomplice. If the code forbids saving the innocent, then the code is wrong.
It is a seductive argument. Justice. We all desire justice. To hear a knight speak so passionately about saving lives, it stirs the blood. Even now, 40 years later, part of me wants to ignite my lightsaber and follow him. But this is the trap Revan did not see. The Jedi Code forbids emotion, not because emotion is evil, but because emotion is a lens that distorts reality. Revan claimed he was fighting for the innocent, but soon he was fighting for victory, then for security, then for order. He began to speak, quietly at first, then with the force of a gravity well. He called himself the Revanchist, a name taken from a promise to take back what was lost. Malak was the first to join him, Alec as he was known then, Revan's shadow. And there was another, Mitra Surik. The Council has tried to erase her from this history, but I will not allow it. She was not a firebrand like Revan. She was a healer, a stabilizer. She joined the Revanchists not because she loved war, but because she could not stand to watch the suffering. Revan led the movement. Surik bound it together. The arrival of the Jedi changed the war instantly. The Mandalorians, who had been slaughtering Republic conscripts, suddenly found themselves facing warriors who could predict their movements. Revan did not just fight, he commanded. He took control of a third of the Republic fleet. And this is where the tragedy truly begins. The dark side is not a cliff you jump off. It is a slope you slide down. Every compromised victory greased the path. Malak felt the thrill of dominance. Surik felt the pain of the sacrifices. But she trusted Revan. She trusted that the end justified the means. They pushed the Mandalorians back, from Taris to Duxon. But with every victory, they shed a piece of their Jedi teachings. To defeat the Mandalorians, Revan realized he could not fight like a Jedi. The Jedi Code demands defense. It demands restraint. But the Mandalorians viewed restraint as weakness. So Revan mirrored them. He began to sacrifice troops to secure strategic objectives. He abandoned worlds to save sectors. He became cold. It ended at Malachor V. Revan had cornered the Mandalorian clans. But Revan was not planning a battle. He was planning an execution. Revan had commissioned a weapon. The mass shadow generator. He placed his own fleet, ships filled with Jedi and soldiers who questioned his methods, closest to the planet. He used his own people as bait to draw the Mandalorians in.
General Revan, the Mandalorian fleet is closing in on Sector 4. They've taken the bait. But sir, the 5th Fleet is still in the kill zone. Those are our men. We need time to evacuate.
Negative, Commander. Hold position. If the 5th Fleet retreats, Mandalore will sense the trap. They must remain engaged.
Sir, if you activate the generator now, you'll wipe out our own ships. You're talking about sacrificing 10,000 Republic soldiers.
I am talking about ending a war that has killed billions. Hold the line, Commander. That is an order.
Did you hear the tone of his voice? That is what keeps me awake at night. Not the anger, not the hate, but the calm. By the end of the war, Revan had ceased to be a Jedi. He had become a calculator. He looked at the 5th Fleet, 10,000 living, breathing souls, and he saw them only as ammunition. This is the ultimate danger of the utilitarian path. The crust of Malachor V fractured. The death scream was so loud in the Force that it killed Jedi Masters light years away. And Surik, poor Mitra Surik, she was at the epicenter. To survive the psychic shock, she did the only thing she could. She instinctively severed her own connection to the Force. She blinded herself to the universe to stop the pain. Revan descended to the surface. He found Mandalore the Ultimate, broken and dying. He took the mask of the Mandalore, the symbol of their people, and he claimed it. But he did not stop there. Malachor V was an ancient Sith world. Revan had found what Vrook had feared. He found the teachings of the true Sith. He realized that the Republic was too weak to survive what was coming from the unknown regions. He decided that to save the galaxy, he had to conquer it. He had to forge it into a weapon. They vanished into the unknown regions, claiming to hunt the remnants of the Mandalorians. The Revanchist died on Malachor. Darth Revan was born from the ashes.